Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the weekly Steelchair podcast. It has been quite some time. 2 weeks. Not really too extravagant. We're entitled to a break, by the way. Well, depends on what you think of it. But then again, though, we took a break at the right time, if you think about it. Because there's a lot been going on this week, and I think there's a lot to digest, especially if you're a wrestling fan, that I don't think necessarily we can all cover it in one show, especially if we've got Wrestlemania predictions. So what we are going to do is we are going to do a prediction stream, which is fun. So we'll be here for the next hour and a half. We'll be here until 4:30 because I want to mug off a little bit of NXT as well. I want to do a little bit of mugging that off. And also, most importantly, we're also going to determine what we're going to do next week, because I also think as well, this one right here, my malevolent co-host, has got some other shows to catch up on. Get her opinion on it, and then she can torture Daniel Garcia later. But in the meantime,
I think you'll find Tony Khan is well and truly on his naughty step. Hangman and Moxley are very much on their naughty step as well. But who isn't on the naughty step? Well, pretty much everyone at WWE at the minute, unless they're Baron Corbin. We are launching into Wrestlemania, and it begins tonight at 6 o'clock UK time with Stand and Deliver. That card actually looks quite stacked. I know you say you want to mug it off, but it's looking Channing stacked Lorenzo, if you ask me. And after that, of course, we've got WrestleMania Night 1. We've got WrestleMania Night 2 the following night. And then those other companies can do what they call wrestling. But we're going to jump into this. I hope you're all doing well. It's obviously been a few weeks. Just a couple of things coming up. Obviously, there was the quiz where my Wi-Fi couldn't cope, and neither could my, neither could my health. So if I was on that stream, you wouldn't have been able to hear anything. But we're back today. We're looking at the WrestleMania card. We're going to start with tonight. Now, warning for all you, Natalia fans, for you diehard Viking Raiders fans, and everything like that. We will not be covering those matches in huge detail because we don't really care. Neither do you, and we have a limited amount of time. So we've got to focus on the star power. And beginning with star power, that's exactly what WrestleMania aims to do, because it has been announced that opening the show, kicking off WrestleMania tonight, WrestleMania 39, Austin Theory defends the US title against John Cena. It was a match that was rumoured, a match that seemed destined to happen ever since SummerSlam and that sort of joke photo shoot where Theory was sort of tapping into some prime Cena posing and some prime Cena,
brilliant stuff, by the way.
iconic imagery. So it's basically felt destined to happen, and at the same time, John Cena has been less and less present on our screens. So
That is very true.
He shows up, and we are going to get the match. Reece, what are your thoughts on this opening the card?
Well, first of all, I was looking for my pen because I'm making sure I'm getting our predictions in. But I'm actually looking forward to this one. I know a lot of people have labelled Theory. First of all, hello, Declan. I'll actually give you that. I'll give you that answer right now. Actually, when it's NXT show on, NXT Stand and Deliver kicks off at 5 o'clock. So we're literally an hour and 55 minutes away from Stand and Deliver, just to give you that. Get your predictions in, and guys as well in the comments. Welcome to everyone that's watching. Please also like, share, and subscribe. But to go back to your question, I am looking forward to this one. Me and you have been, even though we have at times, and we've done this on the last show as well. If you go back and watch our last full-on discussion show, we have given strong criticism to Austin Theory, but that's because me and Eilidh, yes, we at times disagree on some things, but we collectively agree that Austin Theory is actually really good. He just gets unnecessary hate. The guy is so bloody talented, and he's enjoyable. He's entertaining to watch. He has made some questionable errors of judgment when it comes to promos, I think, and also backstage segments. I think he lost a lot of his heat with the angle surrounding himself and Montez Ford. Some of the comments you can tell were clearly Vince McMahon-esque, No surprise, he's actually back as a fully fledged employee. Spoiler. But in terms of this match, I'm actually looking forward to it because Theory has actually done this entire... It's like Kevin Owens last year against Stone Cold. We didn't think we were going to get Stone Cold at last year's WrestleMania. We didn't think we were going to get Cena in a type of match like this year. They built their entire feud themselves last year, and it was last year and this year. They've done it so well that I'm actually glad that this match is on first. Not going to lie, I know in order, the Usos versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn has got such a massive build and it deserves to be in the main event. I'm not going to lie. This is the only match, apart from maybe Mysterio, like the Mysterio clash, that I would actually say is main event worthy. I don't think, well, we're going to come to the women's match later on, but in terms of like star quality, Theory is one to build around for the future. He has got that over factor. He is cocky. He has got an attitude that you just want to punch him in the face, but he's generally so entertaining. He's such a good worker. And he's had credibility over his matches over the past year or so, especially after he dropped the Money in the Bank, which was holding him down. I'm looking forward to this one, and I just can't wait. And I'm just going to say flat out right now, I'm going against the narrative. I'm going Theory to beat Cena.
Okay.
I know you're going to go Cena to win, but I would...
You not see my predictions in the old group chat that I'm now a part of?
Are you actually going Theory to beat Cena?
Yeah.
Are you manifesting the greatness?
Well, I think no matter how much we talk about, okay, the old guy can't lose all the time, it ends up being the case that the older guy, the veteran, loses all the time anyway. So, and we'll come on to this, basically.
We will,
for
actually.
Other predictions across the show as well. I thought if I just back every veteran to lose, that's more likely than every veteran winning.
Declan's actually
and it's more likely than having these sorts of 50-50. Will it be that veteran? I said it a couple of weeks ago, well, 3 weeks ago. I thought, we can't have both Mysterio and Cena lose.
Has to be one or the other.
Yeah, so I've kind of had to double bluff and sort of go against my own psychology on that. And yes, that gives away a pick for later, but I think you all knew where we were going for that anyway. No, I'd say Theory to win this one. Maybe gets beat on the Raw after Mania by, when you look at it, probably Montez Ford, but could be anyone really.
I think there's three possibilities, but it depends on contracts, and also depending on actually what happens if it's stand and deliver. I think the three possibilities, I actually know four. There's four because I'm looking forward to the fact that one tag team is actually going to split after Mania, and we're not going to talk about it. But the four possibilities, it depends what you think. I think are Montez Ford. It's a good shout. Okay. Chad Gable deserves a singles run as a champion. The guy just delivers, even though he's stuck in a situation where Otis is now going to be in maximum male models. Like Chad Gable, like you don't really know what's going to do with him. I'd put him in a singles run. The guy is excellent. I think the other one, depending on what happens with contracts, if they can get over the line in time, is Jay White coming in from New Japan. Or the last one is if Braun Breaker drops the title at Stand and Deliver, comes straight in, wins the US title on Raw. I wouldn't be opposed to that.
It could be. I mean, I was thinking someone like an LA Knight, because I think they are going to have to turn him face based on the reaction he got on SmackDown. Maybe move him over to Raw, he wins the US title, he carries that for a bit, puts some credibility behind it. We know what Eli Drake can do. But yeah, basically, we're both saying Theory, and we're going to move on now to the guy who I'm rocking his shirt.
We are fully fledged diehard Rollins stands.
Seth Rollins is fantastic. Logan Paul is also fantastic. This match, people have been saying it for a fair bit now. If they do this at WrestleMania, it could steal the show.
Yes.
This could honestly be your match of the weekend. Seth Rollins, obviously, as Logan has dubbed him, Seth No Chin Rollins, because he's been knocked out several times through one punch. They've done very well to sort of establish Seth as the face in this feud without necessarily turning him face completely.
I know. I've loved that.
It's almost like once he vanquishes Logan Paul, if he does, which I think he does, as my prediction right there, Seth could go back to being heel.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because he hasn't been like, oh, you fans are going to stop me from, you're going to stop Logan Paul from beating me. He hasn't once sort of acknowledged that it's his fans that have put him there or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's still this idea that he is cocky. He's just the cocky guy that we want to win, not the cocky guy that we want to lose. Because that's Logan Paul.
That's very true. I do think there is actually a defining factor as well, and it's as soon as night one's over, Logan Paul's gone. His contract expires at the end of WrestleMania, so I think that completely determines my pick. Going into WrestleMania, if Logan Paul to extend his contract, even though I don't like the guy, I would have said Logan Paul goes over. If he's leaving, there's no way in hell he deserves to leave WrestleMania with a win. So I'm going with Rollins to beat him and send him packing and say bye-bye, bitch, on the way out. So I'm manifesting a Rollins win here. So that's my prediction.
Then of course Seth Rollins could be the guy. If they do turn him face, Seth Rollins could be the guy to capture the US title once more. I mean, again, you sort of end up back in the same loop. Obviously, Seth sort of defended Theory.
He did,
when he cashed in, and that's how we've ended up with Seth, Theory, and Lashley having the triple threat. That was actually quite fun. Before Seth sort of is split off into this.
I think it was wrong that he's the one that took. I think it was wrong though that going at that match as well, where he is so over that it was Theory to recapture the title. It had to be they had to pin Rollins. I think it would have been more interesting if it'd been. I think it would have been a lot more interesting if it had been Lashley that took the pin, because Lashley shouldn't have been in the match in the first place, in my opinion.
Yeah, but Lashley's been on fire for a bit now.
I know.
So, I mean, you wonder what it's all building to for Bobbles Lashley, but seemingly the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal win, and that's your lot.
I'm not even going to discuss that shit of a match. I watched the highlights of SmackDown because I was watching Ring of Honor, and it's the most pointless battle royal. It should have been scrapped after WrestleMania 30.
No, that's unfair. It's like the curtain jerker.
I know, but still, I think the fact is they done it at WrestleMania 30 as a tribute to Andre the Giant. It made a lot of sense. Other than that, it should have just been here's a just rename it to the WrestleMania Showcase Battle Royal or something. But they done it on SmackDown, so they clearly don't know what they're talking about. Liam says, hello, good to see you, mate. Father versus son and tag team match should be good with Zayn and Owens reunited.
Yep,
possibly.
We'll come on to that one. LA Knight should have won that Battle Royal. Yeah.
They got it massively wrong.
Yeah, you should have.
And Danny saying Bobby Lashley win as well. Yeah, 100%. There's so much. So for your one, so Rollins versus Logan Paul, are you going Logan Paul to win this one? Or
no, I'm going Seth Rollins, mate.
There is something else. I'm not going to spoil it, but if anyone has checked out Instagram recently, Logan Paul's entrance rehearsals were actually leaked by Ringside News. All I'm going to say is one of my all-time WrestleMania entrances is being completely copied.
Why doesn't Tommy Fury just come out tonight and
I wouldn't mind that.
Help Seth win? Obviously, that was recently in the news. Tommy Fury is interested in a run in WWE, so that's interesting. And of course, it was Jake that he beat, wasn't
it? Yes, it was. It was.
Yeah, in boxing. Anyway, we don't talk about boxing, that fake stuff. We're only into the real stuff over here. And into the third match on the card. So we've both said Seth Rollins, we've both said Austin Theory. Will we both say Damage Control?
Thank fuck. Yes.
The six-women tag team match, Damage Control, which, okay, they arrived, they were really, really hot, and then they did nothing with them.
This is what has to happen, in my opinion. We already know one thing that's going to happen. Trish Stratus is turning heel at WrestleMania. She is turning heel. Trish Stratus is going to turn on Becky Lynch at WrestleMania, and Damage Control are going to capitalize on it.
Who would care about that?
Because the plan is, and I'm sorry to say this, but the plan for SummerSlam is Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus.
Okay, they could just do that though.
Yeah,
they don't need to come up with some nonsense like Trish just turns here. There's no reason for that to happen.
What if the other thing as well though is they go crazy and they turn both Trish Stratus and Lita turn heel, and like similar to what they did, funnily enough, of another tag team from several years ago who turned heel on a day where Reigns had to relinquish his title. Would be mental if they'd done that similar angle where.
I really wish that you wouldn't compare it to that, because the Shield had years of history, and
but you know what
Becky
I mean
Lynch and Lita were in the same place.
I'm not saying I'm not doing that direct comparison, but if they do turn Trish like they do, like the plan is, I've seen this a few areas, like credible like wrestling journalists and all that have said that the plan is to turn her heel. I don't think you can leave Lita right in the middle of this, because obviously tag team partner and best friend loyalty, it basically kills the whole thing. Either way,
it's not about leaving anyone in the middle of it though, Reece. It's about the fact that two of these women have pretty much retired.
I know.
So there's absolutely no need for them to be involved in another storyline. If Trish wants to fight Becky at SummerSlam, just do it. Because if they feud, we know that Becky's probably winning. And if they don't feud, we know that Becky's probably winning.
I know. Here's a question.
It doesn't make sense.
Here's a question for you, because this is the confusing thing though, right? For this match, we both have damage control to win, right? Mm-hmm. Bayley has been used wrongly, in my opinion, since she returned. She should have taken the title off Bianca, even though Bianca's been excellent. Dakota Kai and Io Sky are actually
Bayley should have won Liv Morgan's title.
Fair point. Dakota Kai and Io Sky are actually two of the fans' favourites to actually win the Money in the Bank match. So here's the question.
Go on then.
Who do you think should take the pinfall? Who would you actually give the pinfall to in terms of this case? Would you give it to Bayley, or would you give it to one of her tag partners? Who would you give? Because me personally, I would have Dakota Kai score the pinfall. I want Dakota Kai to win Money in the Bank. I want Dakota Kai to win Money in the Bank.
I mean, your easy answer here, Reece, is you have two people do the pin.
That would be fun.
Like your easy answer here is like Shirai hits the moonsault, so hooks the leg, and Kai holds the arms down. Because sometimes that's allowed and sometimes it's not.
Absolutely.
But if the idea is that Bayley's sort of formed damage control and they're this, I mean, okay, if the idea was they're this unstoppable sort of force that's helping her, they shouldn't get beat by Becky Lynch and Lita. Doesn't make sense, and I've said it for a long time. They need to scrap those tag titles, because whoever they give them to just die. Whoever ends up with the tag titles just dies. I mean, over on NXT, the NXT Women's Tag Team titles, can you tell me who the champions are?
Yeah, it's
Exactly. It's Kiana James and Fallon Henley.
Yeah. I forgot their surnames.
It's like they just bounce it around. It's an excuse for a title to change hands, an excuse for another belt. And Tony Khan is proof that doesn't work.
There is one thing they should realistically do, and I've had this on my mind for a very long time.
Go on then.
When it comes to the women's tag team titles, when it comes to the women's singles titles, they are missing the trick that there should be a mid-card women's title. They need a mid-card working title. They've missed this trick for a long time, and I don't think anybody can actually realistically argue that they do. But in terms
they would need a mid-card title if they scrapped one of the world titles, or if that mid-card title could go between both shows.
Both shows for when the brands.
I'll be honest. I don't think you need two women's world titles. I just don't. I think that the contender pool, there's two very distinct levels, where there's about 7 or 8 people who could go for the women's world title, and then there's another 8 to 10 to 12 people who could go for a mid-card belt.
I would have the mid-card title actually be defended like show to show. You know, actually even though it gets pay-per-view matches out, premium live event, I would still have it as like a TV title. You know what I mean? Like use it and not
Yeah,
directly
TV
not every
titles are
not,
interesting though, because then you end up with like pointless stuff happening, a la
but I would
Tony
at least
Khan.
give it. I would at least give it like whatever match. Like I know this sounds a bit unfair in that way, but like I would actually, when you get to eventual brand split, I would have. I went a bit too far tweeting this, by the way, but I would actually have two. I would have one for each show, and you actually have separate premium live events again between brands, and it gives the
Okay,
opportunity.
I mean, I get that. I get their reluctance to do that is because you would then only have one women's feud. And they
That's not.
want to kind of leave that in the past, and that's why matches like this exist.
I
And
know.
I think
know.
this will be an okay match. I think Damage Control have to get the win again because
Yeah.
you've got veterans against current day people. And again, if I just back every current day person and team to go over every veteran,
As
I'm
Katana
more
and
likely to
Caden,
be right. So Katana and Caden,
they're
they
the
had
tag.
them, right?
They're a good team. They lost it to Jason
James
and all
and
that. Like.
Henley, yeah.
Yeah. To
Anyway,
be fair, it actually make more sense because they are slightly more over. I think Katana and Caden are just. I think they're a good transition.
yeah, well, this match is a little pointless, but it's got nothing on the next one for pointlessness. The men's WrestleMania Showcase Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match. It'll be fun. It's a bit of nonsense.
I can't be fucked with it. I'm not even interested.
Strowman and Ricochet versus Street Profits versus the Alpha Academy versus the Viking Raiders. I mean, Maximum Male Models have been absolutely snubbed here, so I imagine they're going to get involved.
They'll probably get involved. Tell Otis he needs to go and get his lotion on, and then you leave Chad Gable to.
Call him by his real name.
I am not going to do that because I absolutely despise Maximum Male Models. I absolutely hate the whole thing. I hate the faction. I hate the gimmick. I hate the entire setup. It bores me to nut. Every time they're on TV, I actually look away or I mute the TV.
You're a real ray of sunshine today, are you not? It's WrestleMania. Lighten up.
I'm excited for WrestleMania. I hate Maximum Male Models. I hate the whole thing. Like if it was up to me, if I was the booker, this would never have got anywhere near TV. It would have been scrapped from day one. I would never have allowed this to get near TV. Whoever decided to do this needs to be chucked in the bin. I'm not even joking. I would chuck them in the bin.
Anyway, it's a pointless. It's a pointless match. So let's just say our predictions and move on.
Just because I don't care, Viking Raiders.
Yeah, I've gone Viking Raiders. They've sort of had the most going into this. So...
And I'm looking forward to the tag team split between Street Profits anyway, so they don't really need the win.
Yeah, I mean, people have said it seems quite inevitable that's going to happen. I think you'd be better just having Montez Ford go on a singles run while still having the Street Profits there, like how every member of the New Day's been allowed to do.
Exactly.
Because I think if you break the Street Profits up, your tag division gets a lot worse.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially with like no RK Bro to fill in. You're apparently going to split up Alpha Academy now. Like, there won't be anything.
Yeah.
You don't even use Los Lotharios either.
And now now Legado's completely changed to. Well, we'll actually come into that.
Yeah, here we go.
We'll come into that. I'm going to give props here. Like before we discuss Mysterio versus Dominic, I just want to say I've had a little bit of iffy. Obviously, we're in the same group chat, so I've been a little bit iffy about certain WWE booking at the minute. I just want to say as well, the fact that they've actually redone like Lucha World Order and all that. I fucking love that like reunion in a different way. They've got obviously you can't do the WCW version, but you do it with the right talent on WWE, and you put in a veteran. Conan was the veteran of LWO, WCW. Rey Mysterio is the veteran of the WWE version. It's perfect to do it. And it elevates the talent we want to see get over. Like Legado del Fantasma are a brilliant group, but they haven't actually done anything recently. The most work has been done, funnily enough, has been Santos Escobar, and he is outstandingly good. I would actually have him win the IC title or the US title in Puerto Rico at Backlash. I would put him over.
But that's Bad Bunny's spot.
No, Bad Bunny's hosting it.
Or Damian Priest.
I love Damian Priest. It's hard. One of the two I would have win it anyway. Like, I think they're great. I think that'd be a long-term feud. Funnily enough, Escobar versus Priest, because it gives like a lot of. You could have like a heritage match there, like Puerto Rico versus Mexico. They both got the same style, like and work of it. It would be great to see.
But speaking of long-term feuds, this feud has been going for a long time.
This has to end.
Dominic turned in September.
This has to end.
It was building all through August that he was going to. In September at Clash, he finally snapped and he hit his dad after booting Edge in the nuts, I think.
He booted his dad. He booted Edge in the nuts and then he clotheslined his dad.
Yeah. So it's been building since then. And Ray was like, I'm not going to fight him, not going to fight him. I was like, this is good, don't fight him, really don't want to see it. But then the way that they built it and the way that it went, and Dominic Mysterio take a bow, because his character work has been incredible in this new role. And the way that he squared up to his mum, and Ray's face is on the screen, so you're like, okay, if he doesn't do anything now, I'm actually going to be annoyed at Ray. So then Ray marches over, punches him in the face, and that was all. He just hit him once. People were like, Ray should have hit him again. He shouldn't, because Ray was doing it just to, like, he really, really didn't want to. But it was like, okay, I've got to do it once, he's right, and I'm just letting him walk all over me. So he punches him once in the face, and Dominic sort of scrambles towards the steps, and he was like, you made me hit you.
I know.
That's basically the whole message of this feud, and it's been like Dominic's been trying to get that out of him, and then when he finally does, Dominic's all of a sudden like, no, I didn't really mean it. So I really, really want Rey Mysterio to win this match. Like, I'll probably be watching this tonight the same way that I watched Rey Mysterio matches when I was 8.
As a
there's like, go on, Ray.
Fan. Yeah.
Every single move that's hit on him, I'll be like, oh no, every move that he hits, like, go on, pin him, hit him again, that sort of idea. Michael Cole on commentary just adds to it as well, because his selling of Dominic Mysterio has been fantastic.
I think this is a comparison I can actually make that nobody can disagree with. When I listen to, now, I'm not comparing the fact that commentary-wise, right? But when you think about this, right? When you listen to Michael Cole completely brutalize Dominic Mysterio every single time he's on SmackDown, right? You just know I'm immediately getting JR hating Triple H vibes from 2001. I'm getting the vibe where he generally fucking wants him to get brutalized. It doesn't matter who by. Like Dominic getting hit by anyone. I think Michael Cole generally just bloody loves it for how he's doing it, and I actually love that work. But in terms of building the whole feud, I agree with Sharv. Dominic, Sharv had one bad take in. I'm in a group chat with Dominic, right? With Sharv, right?
Okay, and you be careful throwing around bad take, Mr. Moxley and Gunther.
Yeah, I didn't compare wrestling styles. That's all I'm saying. Sharv had one bad take, right? He usually has a lot, but he had one bad take. He said Dominic has to destroy Rey Mysterio and rip his mask off. I said, no, Dominic just destroy Rey. That's plenty. But I do agree in terms of this, he has to destroy him. Because when you look at it, even if Rey wins, Dominic has to look like the imposing figure here, not his dad. You've got, he can still be cowardly in terms of, a little bit of cheap shop here and there, maybe slap his dad at the start of the match, use heelish tactics, use the ropes.
I've been saying what's going to happen here.
She will never let us go.
I can't. It's one of the stupidest things I've ever heard. Here's what happens tonight, okay? Dominic Mysterio wins is my prediction. But the finish I would book would be Halloween Havoc.
Oh, you did not.
I would just do that finish. Ray wins by roll up. In the purple jumpsuit against Dominic Guerrero.
So
they
you're...
just should.
I
Dominic
can't.
can retire Ray down the line. If that's
I
what
don't
Ray
know.
wishes.
See, I would like that, but I really do not want to see. The reason I don't want to see that so early is because Halloween Havoc, Mysterio versus Guerrero is one of the best matches I've ever watched. Like, obviously, I had to watch it. I had to watch it back, obviously, because I was only 5 months old when this match happened. But like, in terms of the match, the way I would end it, I would do exactly how WrestleMania 21 ended. The way they done it at WrestleMania 21, it was slightly similar, but it was a full-on counter of the. It was a full-on counter of the Three Amigos. Like, it's just the way it works. As much as I would like the idea of winning by roll-up, I don't want it to be the roll-up finish of Rey Mysterio's greatest ever match. I think it just takes away, in my opinion. I want that match to just be left. I would like him to come out in that attire, though. That would be.
But then does bringing the LWO take away from it? Then does Dominic saying that he should have been Eddie's son take away from it? We can't ignore the fact that this family is intrinsically linked with the Guerreros.
It's so damn hard. It is so damn hard.
I'd just lean into it.
Even Danny's saying, like, Ray wins, Dominic does a
Ray
post-match
wins
beat.
via roll-up and Dominic beats him down post-match, leading to LWO on Judgment Day scrapping.
Could happen. I mean, Dom win against Ray can push him to superstardom. Well, Dom doesn't need to beat Rey Mysterio to already be a superstar. Dom is a superstar right now. If you actually think about it, he is. I mean, who is the most hated guy in WWE? It's not Roman Reigns anymore. Like, it's not.
No, it's Vince.
Yeah, no. I mean, the fact he's an employee. But in terms of like just pure on like unadulterated heat, Dominic Mysterio's got more heat than Roman Reigns. More heat. Like, the guy, like, he walks into an arena, he gets booed. All you get from Roman Reigns is, fuck that crap. Like, seriously, fuck your finger. Like, seriously.
I think he might reject that invitation. Anyway, so we're both saying Dominic.
He's not getting off me. Nah, Top Dollar's not the most hated guy. Top Dollar's just...
It was funny last night in the Battle Royal. Michael Cole was like... So he was asked, who's your pick? Wade asked him, who's your pick? Michael Cole said Top Dollar.
You can't throw him over the ropes.
Wade asked why, and he was like confused. Why would you say that? Michael Cole just turns and goes, well, we can't go over the top rope. He will not let it go. It's hilarious.
I just love the heat that
Top Dollar is quite hated,
Dom's got. The heat that Dominic Mysterio has got since,
I think Dominic Mysterio's got the most heat.
Amazing. So you're going with Rey Mysterio to win at
No, I'm going with Dominic.
You're going with Dominic.
I told you, I'm backing every current star to beat every veteran.
I'm just loving this because I might disagree with you.
Ooh,
I really just want to slap you in the face with your favorite wrestler of all time.
That's fine. I don't mind. Look, I'd rather predict Dom and see Ray win than predict Ray win, see Dom win, and get like a double whammy.
I know. But to be fair, I am actually going with who I've actually picked all week, so I'm actually going with Dominic.
Fair enough. But
the thing is, though, is Dominic wins at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
How long before Dominic gets a singles title? Before we move on to the match I actually I hope is not the main event of WrestleMania Night 1. But in terms of like, how long do you think before Dominic even gets a singles title? Because I know a lot of people are thinking Dominic has got the opportunity, like the potential to be a world champion. I think he might, but I think he's more destined to be a fantastic mid-card champion. I think this guy's destined to be an amazing Intercontinental champion.
Okay, well, he doesn't need to have a title match for at least 3 years. So, he could just be in the mix. And so long as you keep him doing interesting enough stuff, you definitely don't need to rush him into a title feud. be it mid card or they're not going to
I
do it.
I disagree with this comment completely. It should be LA Knight, or it should be LA Knight for me that wins Money in the Bank. He's so much more over.
I think they should go with Tyler Bate, but that's a conversation for another time. So Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley, match 6 here.
This is where I'm going to get.
I haven't really cared.
Yeah.
I think Rhea wins because it's risky. It's risky to bet against Charlotte. But Rhea's spent so long in Judgment Day just sort of helping their stuff out. It was fairly obvious who was going to win the Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
And that usually means it's fairly obvious who's taking the title.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll say Rhea. I think this feud's been quite poor. I like that Rhea Ripley is basically called Charlotte out, sort of work shoot style of like, oh, you always have to win, you're always Charlotte, like it's that sort of thing. How much of that is shooting and how much of that is working is obviously not known to us, but yeah, Charlotte could just win this title back in a month or two. Give Rhea a moment.
Yeah, we know that it doesn't matter how long Rhea Ripley can hold the title for. Like, it generally does not matter. Like, Rhea Ripley is not going to hold this title long. Even though she deserves a good reign, it ain't going to happen. There's potential to be match of the night along with Logan Paul match. I think the Mysterio match is going to be really good. I know that's what he's talking about. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near the quality that Logan Paul versus Seth Rollins is going to be. That is going to be, in my opinion, the best match of both nights. I think, like, in terms of the full caliber quality, as much as I cannot stand Logan Paul, I think generally, like, when he's been in every match he's been in since he first joined WWE, has actually been pretty much the most talked about. Like, his debut against the Mysterios, he was excellent. His match against The Miz at SummerSlam was phenomenal. Then he goes 3 matches in. His third match in is against Roman Reigns in Saudi Arabia. And the fact of the matter is, he gave Reigns a proper good run for 20 minutes. It was actually enjoyable. Then he comes back at the Royal Rumble after getting injured. Comes to the Royal Rumble, eliminates Seth Rollins in such fashion. The feud continues. He gets him inside the chamber, costs him the US title, and they've been going back and forth. Now you've got them at WrestleMania. His last match, well, the way it's going, unless he does come back, it's just like, it's a swerve. He actually may re-sign his contract, but at the moment it's expiring. I actually don't think, even the Undisputed title match, I don't think that's got a bigger feel than Rollins versus Logan Paul. I think Rollins versus Logan Paul is the match of the entire show. But that's my opinion.
I mean, it's probably going to be like the best match. I still think Cody and Roman's absolute blockbuster.
Well, that's
done so well with it.
Mm-hmm.
But the point that we're making is that the match that we're talking about hasn't really been made to feel blockbuster at all.
And it shouldn't main event night 1.
It's 2 big names for WWE at the moment, but the feud's just been nothing. There was nothing really to build on other than this is Charlotte, she's the champ, this is Rhea, she's the challenger.
I agree. When you
and
look
other than
at
just sort of weird shots back and forth, there's been nothing to elevate this beyond this is the women's feud because it's the women's title.
I agree. And I know a lot of people are in the old school mindset that the Royal Rumble winner should always main event WrestleMania. I am one of those people in that sense that, like, the Royal Rumble winner should, but the Royal Rumble winner should only main event WrestleMania if they actually build it properly. And I'm going to use another example where the Royal Rumble winner didn't get to main event because the feud wasn't actually built well, but it opened the show and it was actually a really good opener, and that was Rollins versus Lesnar. Like, I know you hate Brock Lesnar beautifully, but
yeah, but I mean, think about
they didn't build it. So
but I mean, like, go back. You know, Rey Mysterio, Kurt Angle, Randy Orton.
True. It
That
didn't
didn't main event. It got 8 minutes.
Cena won the Rumble in 2008. It was main evented by Taker versus Edge, rightfully so.
Yeah,
Anyway,
exactly.
It was the better
you know,
feud.
go with the biggest feeling match.
Yep.
So that's why match 7 should be the main event. But I mean, I'm going Rhea. Are you?
I'm also going Rhea, just because it would be criminal to have her win the Rumble and then have her lose to Charlotte again at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I don't know what Charlotte goes on to do.
Yeah, this is what I've said before. A lot of people think Charlotte is best in the world, right? She's a great worker, but she doesn't lead a match really well unless it's someone of a top, like of someone of that talent, according like on that similar level. And when she's not as world champion or in a championship program, what does she do? She does nothing. She just fucks off for 6 months or whatever, and then comes back and then she's immediately in a title program. Although fair enough, she beats Ronda Rousey. I'm all right with that because I can't stand Rousey anyway. But when Charlotte Flair's not in a title program, genuinely, what does Charlotte Flair do? Does nothing. Nothing.
No, it's very true. So I suppose the question would be, what do the Usos do after they lose their titles?
Plant the seed for night 2, but I don't know.
So the Usos, Jay and Jimmy, up against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. The match that should main event night 1. I just don't think they do it, because do you end both nights of WrestleMania with the bloodline on their backs?
I think that would be crazy. But it would actually... the thing is, right, Nick Khan is such a serial liar, but he does say that there are swerves planned for WrestleMania.
Well, he would say that.
But that would be a really good swerve. Having Bloodline main event both shows and both actually being on their back in one way, shape, or form. Like, there's something of it. And I'm looking forward to coming out to night 2 because night 2 is going to be really interesting. But in terms of this one, this is going to be great. I want to see, like, I haven't enjoyed a WrestleMania tag match, funnily enough, since Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus McMahon and Daniel Bryan, because it was 3 great guys and the most boring.
It was 15 minutes of Shane McMahon. Are you sure?
I only enjoyed it because it was Daniel Bryan's return. Like,
right,
that was
okay.
it. But there hasn't been a good tag match at WrestleMania for years. They have to get this right. Like, because they nearly had it, funnily enough, with Rick Boogs and Shinsuke Nakamura if Boogs hadn't got injured. Because I think Boogs is a really enjoyable guy to watch. I really enjoy watching him. I love Nakamura. The Usos
what did you make of the WrestleMania Showcase tag match last year?
Can't remember it.
Well, it was Banks and Naomi that won the belts.
Oh yeah, says a lot.
The match was fun.
Says a lot that I couldn't remember who won it. I mean, harshly.
Yeah, I mean, neither of them are around anymore. So that's interesting.
Well, I'm going to tell you now, by the way, she was spotted at Supercard backstage, apparently.
It's fairly obvious that she's gonna.
Yeah, Trinity Fatu is going to Ring of Honor, apparently. But just in the terms of like this one, like in terms of just a pure tag team title match, they haven't really got the tag team titles right at WrestleMania for a very long time. If they cannot get this right, then God help the tag team division, because it's the tag team division for WWE is just as bad as the women's division in terms of booking. It's just as bad.
It needs work, but they also need to stop building teams just to break them up. And that's why I don't think you break up the Street Profits. I think you need more teams on that level, and you need to elevate the teams that you've got. You need to elevate Los Lotharios, for example, a team that we never get to see. And you need to come up with interesting combinations, or you need to call them up. And, there are good tag teams around. Imperium are there now. They really add to a tag division. If you keep the Street Profits together, they really... Yeah, the iconic WrestleMania 35 win. I would agree. That was fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's many tag teams sort of cutting about without them putting 2 single stars together again.
There is.
They just need to book it better. They just need to make us care. And I think there's going to be quite a major addition to the tag team roster pretty soon.
Pretty deadly?
No, you could say that there's going to be somewhat of a revival for the NXT tag team division. But as far for the WWE tag team division, even. But as far as this goes, I mean, if Kevin and Sammy lose, the Usos are just right.
That's actually the most accurate statement of the entire show.
And Sammy's really, really over. Do they risk flattening him out completely?
They could.
Just to keep the Usos on the top.
Well, let's divulge into that, because in terms of, we already know night 2 main event is the big questionable one of it's Reigns versus Rhodes. It's family legacy versus the bloodline conversation about where that's going to go. How crazy would it be when you think about Roman Reigns, the way he's been booked lately, in terms of like his mental instability about the fact is like Rhodes is in his head of what happens if he loses everybody, if he loses his titles. How would it feel though if I remember a great faction that the tag titles were retained, but the WWE champion actually lost his title, and it led to a great split, but it also led to them divulging a different way. I remember in 2003 at WrestleMania 19, where they would then become the world's greatest tag team, as they were, but you had Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas retain the WWE tag team titles, and Kurt Angle lost the title to Brock Lesnar. Angle was completely unstable going into that because he was unstably booked. Funnily enough, Brock Lesnar has been unstably booked with the bloodline because he keeps getting told about what happens if he loses. If he loses Jay, he loses Solo, he loses Jimmy, if he loses Paul Heyman. When you look at it, if the Usos retain and Reigns loses, Reigns is fucked. The power's gone. Like
the power's gone regardless. Though, because Kevin and Sammy could win, and then Roman turns his back on the Usos. And there was something really funny last night. So you know how there's been a bunch of those like movie parodies?
Yes.
Did you see the Bloodline one doing The Godfather?
Yeah, I'd see actually that. What do you think of it?
He's a funny guy. He's a funny guy, and they joke, and it's basically like Paul Heyman's being interrogated. You know, they quote some iconic Godfather stuff. I've never actually seen the movie, but it's fairly obvious what they're going for. And then it comes up the WrestleMania thing, and that's been the end of all of them. You know, if you think about the Seth and the Becky one, it's gone WrestleMania. That's been the end of it. The Ridge Holland one, they've shown the clip. That's been the end of it. The Rhea Ripley one with the can, but with the Roman Reigns one, it cut back. And Solo had no expression on his face and said, "Yeah, you are a funny tribal chief, though." And Roman just looked at him. And that was it.
I know a lot of people think...
And I wonder if that's even part of the ad at this point.
It does resonate to the film. But here's the thing. We were at Clash, and we were absolutely enthralled that Solo made his debut. And we were so happy with
I mean, in the wrong way, because Drew could have won the belt if he didn't.
Yeah. But when you think about our Clash at the Castle review show, the one thing that we spoke about, and he's only just started doing this recently because that also adds to the unstable booking, for a very long time, Solo did not do this. And he looked at the titles. He wasn't looking at Reigns' face. He was looking at the titles. And we were thinking, clear indication, what happens if it's actually Solo that does the work? Jey Uso, we know like we do think Jey Uso's going to get Roman at SummerSlam after Roman takes his well-deserved break. Even though I can't stand the guy, he deserves a break. He's actually been booked so strong for the past 3 years. They need to try and find different talent to try and run WWE. If you can't do it without Reigns, there's no point in putting the titles on someone else. Like, because that really is the question. Jey Uso's a big loss, but I truly believe the biggest loss to Roman Reigns is losing Solo. That's the one that he cannot keep in line without the titles. Because I think Solo would completely run through Roman. He would run through.
Yeah. So we'll come back to Bloodline
We
drama, obviously, for the main event of it all. But I mean, I've got to say Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn here.
Yeah. Short tag team title run, but worth it in the end.
Yeah, when Sami turns on Kevin.
No, Kevin turns on Sami again, I think.
Right, so here we go then. That is your Saturday done. We're just gonna
51 minutes of that as well.
Yeah, we're gonna launch into Sunday. I think there's one fewer matches.
Yep, 6 odds. I'm glad that there's 6 matches on this one because
Yeah,
I actually think
we'll begin by talking about the Meat Box Triple Threat.
We're gonna zoom in a little bit. There we go.
Gunther, Sheamus, Drew. IC title.
This is actually making of a really good triple. This is actually going to be so fun to watch.
Who you got?
Well, there is a crazy thing as well. I don't know if you've heard, but I think it's I think it's an April Fool's joke. But apparently, WWE and Drew McIntyre have not come to terms on a new contract. There is a possibility that McIntyre's leaving. I'm hoping it's an April Fool's joke, but there's 2 things I want to see happen in this one. One, I want to see Gunther retain the title. I still think this run's got enough in it to keep going for a little while, and then the big bad opponent for Cody Rhodes as world champion, if he wins it, is Gunther. But yes. I want Gunther to at least get close or break the IC title record reign held by the Honky Tonk. But what I want to see is Gunther wins the match, pins McIntyre, and as frustration, McIntyre heel turn at last and he boots the piss out of Sheamus. That's what I'm hoping for at WrestleMania. Sheamus doesn't need to take the loss here because, frankly, he's in such a good run anyway. McIntyre was added purely because he had nothing going to WrestleMania anyway, and people were calling for a McIntyre heel turn. We both were, to be fair. Gunther has to go strong leaving WrestleMania. And McIntyre is going stale as a babyface. So if anything, McIntyre
a heel Drew McIntyre could jump Cody.
He could.
And that could be your next feud. I haven't made it a secret who I'm going for the main event anyway. So Drew could jump Cody following the main event, and that could always be a good feud for him. Drew and Cody, I believe, if you want to find the match that they've had together, you'd have to go to WCPW.
You have to, yes, because they were in.
I mean, they've probably crossed paths in WWE before, but there is one in WCPW as well.
Yeah, they were in the Battle Royal. Cody versus McIntyre versus Rey Mysterio. Funnily enough.
Yeah, what a match! And
it was a phenomenal match. One of my favorite indie-based matches as well. Like, it deserves credit.
Oh, he said the word. He said the word, guys. He said indie.
Well, I've got nothing against indie wrestling, unless you put a needle inside. Actually, we're not going to go into that because that really made me cringe. That was disgusting. Take it.
Oh,
have you
did
heard
Ring of Honor get the needles out again? Or?
No. It was on.
You're not talking about Ring of Honor.
No, there was an indie show recently where a wrestler actually had a needle put inside a certain part of his anatomy.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
There's just, again, you're gonna love the deathmatch wrestling. No, I
wasn't
don't.
Wasn't them for a change. But yeah, I'm going Gunther to retain and McIntyre hopefully to turn heel. If he doesn't turn heel but Gunther still wins, I'll be okay with that. But he has to turn heel because I don't, as much as I like Drew McIntyre as a babyface, I prefer him as a heel.
It's gone stale, and whose fault is it?
Triple H
Karrion Kross.
and him.
Because
I think
Karrion Kross comes back, it's supposed to be this huge thing. We were talking about how he could have been the guy to beat Roman Reigns,
we were
and he's
excited by
done
it.
nothing. And he's been nothing, and he's meant nothing.
That is just so inappropriate. I'll give you a laugh anyway.
So I think Gunther. So Sheamus and Drew are probably going to take Gunther out of the match for
Yeah,
Gunther to come back and pin one of them.
powerbomb one on the other like he did on SmackDown.
Pretty much, because they'll be like, if we take out Gunther, it's going to be between us and best man wins. And then they slowly just sort of attack each other more and more. Remember, Sheamus and Drew formed this team out of fighting each other.
Yeah.
You know, like there have been some great matches between Sheamus and Drew. So if they want to run that feud back, this time with Drew as a heel,
You've got something.
don't think anyone's complaining. I think Gunther needs to win. I'd have Gunther with the IC title come next year. He did an interview saying he wanted to main event. Main event with the IC title. Do it.
I would love to see the IC title main event WrestleMania again. It's only main
Especially
event
because
WrestleMania.
it's 2 nights.
Mm-hmm.
So you can main event night one. Easy. Just build up a good opponent. Find a good opponent. I think it's got to be Gunther and someone like Johnny Gargano.
What about Gunther versus Pete Dunne?
Pete Dunne works. Pete Dunne works. Ilya Dragunov works. Tyler Bate works.
I also think as well, depending on what happens, if they get them in, you could also see, I know you'll laugh, but it's because I really do like the guy. One of them is Jay White, but the other as well, you could generally see an amazing match here if they get him in. You could see an amazing match between Gunther and Kenny Omega.
I don't laugh. I roll my eyes.
In a WWE environment, though. Not like just...
In a WWE environment, Kenny Omega is nothing because he can't do anything.
He can still have classic matches.
No. Kenny Omega, if people thought Kenny Omega could come into WWE and do bits, watch his match with... So I will say, I caught clips, one clip in particular, of Kenny Omega and El Hijo del Vikingo. By the way, waste of absolute space, this guy, by the looks of this one spot, where they're like, oh, he hit the 630. He hit the 630 out of the ring. That's so impressive. Yeah, and he almost killed himself because he hit the back of his head off the ring apron.
He'd done it at Supercard, funnily enough, against Commander, and he actually got it done proper this time because he actually gave him space to actually land it properly. So
okay, so we're saying it's Kenny's fault that he did that.
No, I think the fact is they put the table too close to the ring apron.
I think the point is, Reece, that you shouldn't do the move because it's bloody stupid.
I wouldn't do it on the ring apron, no, but in the ring, the way he
done it. On free TV.
I know.
Anyway, we're not talking about that. We're not even talking about free TV. We're talking about two people who have built a fantastic feud on free TV, and they're coming on to it. So we both said Gunther there, by the way. Edge versus the Demon.
Bored of this feud. I'm bored of it. I'm sorry.
Yes, I know, but if they're gonna go out, at least go out on this high.
Yeah, Edge has to lose. He has to lose. He should not be winning this. Not in my opinion. If you're bringing back Demon Balor, who got absolutely ruined at Extreme Rules.
No, God overcame him.
If you call it that. But
it was. Some spotlight happened. He fell from the ropes.
I know. You're bringing back, though, you are bringing back one of the, at the time, was an undefeated gimmick as well. An amazing gimmick of the Demon version of Finn Balor. Finn Balor has won matches to then lose on pay-per-view, to then have to re-injure Edge just to get back into a match with him at pay-per-view. Run it back so many times. The only time he's actually won because it was interference was he quit, but it's a gimmick match that's no disqualification, no holds barred. You're going to get interference. This one, though, inside Hell in a Cell, the classic Hell in a Cell, Finn Balor has to win this one. Like Edge there's nothing going for Edge here. We already know that he is going to retire soon anyway. there's nothing going for him. He already had his perfect retirement match at WrestleMania 27 against Alberto Del Rio when he retained the world title. He does not need to win this.
So, can Edge get the moral victory if the fact that Finn's had to bring the demon out means that he ultimately leads to the end of the Judgment Day?
Possibly.
Because there's one thing we don't know.
His promo was
and
interesting.
again, you play on the fringes of doing too much Wyatt bollocks. But what if they had the demon?
They won't do
I
that.
think he'd break his legs, Sharv.
Just there's people that are manifesting coup de grace on top of the roof, and then there are also
He'd
people that are
break his
manifesting.
legs.
There's people that are also manifesting that Edge does the spear off the cell to
He'd
Balor
break
through
his
the
neck.
table. Yeah, these are the people.
I don't think they're going to go up there.
These are the people that I actually believe should not be allowed to watch wrestling. I'm
I
sorry.
don't. No, Sharv, you're more than
I
welcome.
love Sharv. He's a good guy, but there's no way in hell that you should. I would have them on top of the cell to fight. I'm okay with that, but in no way, shape, or form should they be going.
They
over
shouldn't
or
go up
through
there.
the
You
roof.
don't need to go up there for a cell match. Use the cell as the structure. Play it safe. This doesn't have to be this mind-blowing two high flyers, because Edge isn't a high flyer, and neither is the Demon, really.
He's just a brutal brawler with
Exactly. He's more of a brawler, the Demon.
Run it back. There's a great Hell in a Cell match that Edge has actually
just have
done.
a match in the cell, like Edge and Seth Rollins did.
That does not break the fall in
There will be
any
a
way,
table to break the fall. It's the speed they come down at.
The speed
He will break his legs.
And if you think about Edge coming down from a spear, he's coming down head first.
Yeah, well, think about every spot that we've had off the top of the cell. It's been taken with the back because a flat back bump is the safest to do.
Unless you're Mick Foley.
Well, yeah, but he hasn't really,
Yeah. I don't want them to come down in any way, shape, or form like this.
I don't want them up there.
I would love to see a rendition of. I thought the Edge versus Rollins Hell in a Cell was amazing, but my favorite Hell in a Cell match with Edge in is actually versus Undertaker at SummerSlam. It fit really well to Edge as a narrative where in the match, Taker's going to brutally beat the piss out of him, but Edge goes to that extreme level. He brings in tables, he brings in ladders, he brings in chairs. It fits well to the both men as well from their feud. I would actually bring it to that ilk where realistically you could have Edge spear Finn Balor through the cell cage. They don't have to go up, but you could have him spear him through it. Wouldn't be a bad thing. But I don't. You don't. Instead of going above, in terms of going above up to the top of the cell, no need. I agree with you, but I would still have him spear him through Hell in a Cell cage. I think that'd be a good spot, and it would just add to it as well.
Yeah, but what I was getting at was we don't know if the Demon's actually part of Judgment Day. We don't know how much of a separate entity he is. Will it be that this is like the Demon is the way that we get unhinged Finn Balor?
Yeah.
Is this where Finn is less like, because Judgment Day is supposed to be his group. So Edge would still be right if he somehow, by unleashing Demon Finn, if Demon Finn then went on to destroy Judgment Day. I don't know how that works, because of course then the Demon would have to be the face, because no one's going to cheer Judgment Day.
Damian Priest would have to turn on him then.
Yeah, or Finn would just have to attack him. I don't know if that gets cheers or boos if he does it. Anyway, I think you're right. I think Finn's got to win. And then on to match 3. I don't care. No one cares. Liv and Raquel are winning in my head. I know Raquel got the win last night, but there could be an element of just sort of like, you don't think that because they got that win, but they're probably gearing up Liv and Raquel to be the next team to take on the tag champions.
I just had I don't disagree, but I had a funny idea in mind because it would actually be really funny to see because she's done really well. She's returned as a comic heel that's been pissing off.
You want Sonya and Chelsea?
No, what I would like to see just for the banter is I wouldn't necessarily have them win, but the thought of Chelsea Green winning at WrestleMania just to troll management would be funny. Because that's what she's done since she came back. She has completely rinsed management. Like, he can't help himself. He has to avoid Chelsea Green at all costs, just by saying, you're not WrestleMania, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. And she's built herself into it. Then again, though, I want to see Shayna Baszler rip the piss at Ronda Rousey. I don't care who wins this match. I just want Shayna Baszler to break Ronda Rousey in half. Like, I'm at that point. Like, I want Shayna Baszler to go back to being the killer heel that she is. Put Ronda Rousey permanently out of action. Permanently. I want her gone. I'm sick of her.
I mean, I would rather they had a loser leave town and it was a double count out, but you know. So I'm saying Liv and Raquel. Who are you saying?
Liv and Raquel and Shayna. Liv and Raquel, but Shayna turns on Ronda Rousey at last and leaves her for dead.
So we're in agreement on that one.
But
are we in agreement on the Raw Women's title? Why is every women's feud bad this year?
Because they don't know how. Because they've neglected women for over a year, and
like they've just not built them at all. These feuds are not good. But Belair's going to fight Asuka. There should be a good match.
It's another example. It's another example of terrible booking by Triple H, and this is where I actually think his bookings will be measured for me over the next 6 to 12 months, because he doesn't know how to book the women and he doesn't know how to book the tags. He's failing with them, in my opinion. I know he's been a great booker for other things, but he's relied on the main storyline of the Bloodline to carry him through, and obviously the Judgment Day with Mysterio's carried him as well. The rest of it, he's failed spectacularly. And it really, I hate to say it because I think he's got potential to be a great booker. But when I look at this one, you mentioned earlier on about just needing one world champion. I don't think you can do it as Asuka versus Rhea Ripley. I don't think you can. No, you can't. I don't think so.
Didn't Rhea beat Asuka for the title?
I think the Raw Women's title.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did.
See, so they've done it. Do it again.
It's this gimmick, though. This gimmick of Asuka's this was supposed to be the one. Like, we were all waiting for this gimmick, and it hasn't worked since it's come back. It hasn't worked at all. It's not played to Asuka's strengths. In this match alone, the booking's been a problem that I agree. I've been let down by Bianca Belair not doing enough build from using her greatest asset, apart from athleticism, is her mouthpiece. Like, herself as a great talker, she's not done enough. And Asuka has not built it as a killer, as a killer gimmick of the killer clown. It hasn't worked. This match, I would be very surprised if I've not fallen asleep during this match, even though I'm looking forward to it, because the build-up is just awful. The build-up is terrible. I actually do not care who wins this match.
Yeah, it's sad. Like, it's a good match, but there's no feud. So, like, if it's Anne Still, you'll be like, all right, and if it's Anne New, you'll be like, all right. You know, like, there's nothing to really
for them. I feel
care about. I think either way, the winner is going to get a polite applause and well done.
Yeah.
I mean, it does have the potential to be the match of the weekend, but it's not hot enough.
There's not been any...
so in ring, it's definitely got the potential. This could be your match of the weekend.
There's been
but
no...
I also don't know if anyone cares enough to let it be that. You know, look at some of the great matches from last year, and if there have been any great matches this year, think about, what the crowd has been like. The crowd has to be there to bring it along. So if the crowd aren't there for this, I don't see how it could be a match of the year, even though in ring, I do think it has the potential. I think Asuka wins. I don't know what you go on to after that. Maybe you finally get that Bianca heel turn that you've been calling for months.
Yep, the one and true heel turn that is Bianca Belair finally turns heel.
Or, Bianca goes
Bottom
over
tail.
to SmackDown to take on Rhea, which is the
Yeah.
match that we should have here.
Yeah.
Bianca
is
Belair and
one
Rhea
thing.
Ripley should be the match, and it should be Charlotte Asuka 3 at Mania. Definitely, they fought on 34 because
They
Charlotte
did.
went over.
Wrong decision at the time, but yeah.
Did Charlotte fight Asuka again? I don't think it was another Mania, was it?
Kabuki Warriors and TLC Triple Threat.
Yeah. So they could do 2 in that case, but Charlotte and Asuka, and then Rhea and Belair was right there. Ripley and Belair is the match that we've wanted and haven't seen and haven't got. And I feel like you could have had a hotter feud out of that.
Yeah.
Think about when Bianca won the Rumble.
I didn't like that Rhea Ripley justified that she picked Charlotte because she lost 3 years ago to her. She still could have picked Bianca Belair and then went after Charlotte to go, well, I lost to you 3 years ago at WrestleMania, but I'm coming for you at SummerSlam, and I'm actually going to take your title and I'm going to unify yours with mine. And I'm just going to be the WWE Women's Champion.
Yeah, I feel like they missed the boat for Ripley and Belair.
Yeah.
Maybe the boat comes back round again. I don't see Bianca Belair being as hot as she was sort of crowd-wise, where this could have worked. So Belair and Asuka are going to have a nice match. I don't think the crowd are going to necessarily care unless they do like mind-blowing stuff.
She is so
yeah,
over though
I think
that it's
Asuka
hard
will win.
to call.
And we'll come on to my favourite human being in the world. My absolute favourite, my number one. You know, we all stan a good Saskatchewan hunter. Brock Lesnar versus Omos. I mean, I hate this.
I know you do.
I really want Omos to win, but I also think Omos wins. And
I don't know.
Maybe it's been leading to a Hurt Business swerve this whole time.
The mad thing is, though, is I think have we agreed on every single match so far?
No, we've not.
Which one did we disagree on? No, we've agreed on everything.
You're boring.
The thing is, though, is because we see the vision. This is hard.
I'll be checking your predictions in the chat after this, by the way. Don't think I will.
I haven't put them in the chat yet.
Oh, funny that.
Like
So you're listening to the wrestling czar talk about it.
No,
and you get all the ideas off of me and my 100% spotless record.
No, I've had my WrestleMania predictions for a while, but I wanted to make them public here. Like, what is the Because to be fair though, it could go either way. It was better to do it here on the show that matters, our podcast.
Whoa, easy now.
I was debating one match the whole way through. And it's the one we've just discussed. I was 50-50. Like, I was 50-50.
I could see them going one way, I could see them going the other. Here, I can see them going one way or the other. You know, do you have a Brock Lesnar so strong, he lifted Omos and he planted him? Oh, I mean, I can see them doing that, and it is Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
I think it makes the most sense if you want Omos to still be over. Hurt Business. It has to be. So I'm saying Omos to win. I think it's going to be horrible.
There's there's a new cult on social media, and it's actually Homo sapiens or whatever it is.
Oh, the Homo sapiens! Don't tell me you're not an Homo sapien.
Oh, fucking hell, no way. Oh, I'm going to be sick.
What?
They've just shown a picture of, first of all, Vince McMahon with dyed brown hair.
Okay.
With his mustache, standing beside the Great Muta and Triple H. Oh,
Nice.
I feel sorry for the Great Muta having to stand beside him.
Hmm.
At least someone's defending me. I feel mad. This one is, I actually don't know. See, I think Omos has got potential, but he's just clunky. But then again, though, he's such a likable guy. He's likable. I would rather they just ended this match in a double disqualification and just fucked off. I've got no interest in it. Like this match, I generally don't give a shit about. I'm putting yours down as Omos, right? But
Okay, I will say you can't predict don't care. That will just be a null and void.
I know. You know what? For the first time today, I'm going to go complete opposite. I'm going to go Lesnar to win.
Of course you are. And of course you will win the predictions of Brock Lesnar.
I'm going Lesnar to win because I want what you've just said to happen post-match. The Hurt Business brutalized Lesnar in the midst of his celebration. Completely off guard. And it all starts with MVP hitting him with a cane in the back of the leg. And then he takes his, and even better is he brings out some wine or something like that. Takes a glass and then spits in Lesnar's face.
Okay.
So just
I mean, sure. You know, I could see it happening. It is Brock Lesnar. Perilously betting against Brock Lesnar and perilously betting against our tribal chief.
This is where I'm going
to main event of WrestleMania. All the marbles, the bloodline on the line, the titles on the line. Will we actually be happy at the end of WrestleMania? On the line. Cody Rhodes' WWE relevance on the line. Cody Rhodes to defeat Roman Reigns in the WrestleMania 39 main event to capture both championships to finish the story.
Well, here's a question.
Okay.
Will it be for both titles?
Yes.
Because I got a sneaky suspicion that it might randomly change.
Okay, unless I already pulled this one at the Rumble, so
I know you did,
and it didn't happen then.
I'm just trying to figure out why. Unless it was a perfect mind game toy of Rhodes, is that ending of SmackDown last night where he normally lifts both titles.
Oh.
But he lifted the WWE title in his face. What if there is a swerve where Paul Heyman, during that contract signing, or in the contract itself, he has swerved it where the Universal title does not get dropped, so Reigns still holds on to the title for, say, 1,000 days, but the WWE
this
title
whole 1,000 days thing, do you think they care that much?
I don't know. I know super psychotic Roman Reigns stans do. He's held both titles hostage when it should never happened in the first place. They missed a big trick on a good quartet 4 after day 1 last year. Like, they ruined it by putting the title on Lesnar.
I'm not sure he should have never had them.
He shouldn't have had both titles. For me, no.
Okay, he shouldn't have had both.
I've got no problem with him holding. I've got no problem with him holding the Universal title for so long, if it's actually getting talent over to the point where he drops it to one particular talent who is strongly, incredibly booked to beat him.
Yeah, no one gets over with the Universal title, mate.
But the WWE title is make or break. And the way that he held the title literally to his face makes me wonder, what if before the match starts, you literally hear this is for the WWE title?
Again, I pulled this.
I know. But again,
so what you say, you're taking my booking from Rumble and applying it to Mania.
But look at who he faced at the Rumble compared to this match, though. No
Yeah,
disrespect to
I
Kevin
would
Owens.
like to see it because we want to see the titles split. But also, Cody could just win and then the following night on Raw announce that he's vacating one of them.
Yeah, you could just say, well, I don't want the... They could also merge, because they are looking to bring in a new world title. They might bring back the big gold belt. I'm hoping they do, manifesting it. They could do what they did when, funnily enough, they unified the two titles when Orton beat Cena. You've just got the WWE World Championship again, but they just call it the WWE title. Like, I'd like to see
but
what
I think
the
they need
plan is.
2 world titles. I think there's too much talent for there to only be one world title. But anyway, Cody to win, Roman to lose, Bloodline to break up, Roman and Jay have an I Quit match, and Jay makes Roman say I quit.
Oh,
Is how I would probably end this feud.
you think Roman would quit?
I think to end Jey Uso's story. What if Cody goes up to Jey Uso and says, "Finish the story"? The story started with Jey Uso.
It didn't start with an I Quit match, though. But
No,
it
but that
got
was the
intense.
second thing they did.
Yeah, it got intense with the I Quit match.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Oh, you're grasping me.
I can see that happening. But I can certainly, and I will say, I can see Cody Rhodes winning the big match tomorrow night. The main event of WrestleMania is going Cody Rhodes' way. That's
Have
my
you
prediction.
have you seen the custom title they did for him?
I saw it on TikTok. I've been trying to avoid anything talking about WrestleMania in terms of, oh, this was backstage. It's like, no, just let things be surprising.
I think it looks. I have to say, I think even if it was for one night only, it just holds it up. I do think it looks fantastic. That custom Nightmare WWE title belt based on the Winged Eagle. I think it looks really cool. I would love it if he did exactly what he did in 2011. I love the Intercontinental title that they used for the Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression. I love that design. But the white strap is one I've always personally adored. I love the white strap version of the classic, and I love the black strap. I would actually like if he did exactly what he did in 2011 when he was the Intercontinental Champion. It comes out with the current iteration of the WWE title, but then, like he did in 2011 at Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, he just calls out 2 guys that come out with a bag, and he takes out the Winged Eagle title. I want to see the Winged Eagle return as a mainstream title. It's one of the nicest belts I've ever seen. I think it would make a lot of sense to have a classic come back because they've already ruined it. I don't like the IC title. You know I don't like the current IC title design. I don't like the US title design. But I don't like the unoriginality of the Universal and WWE titles. I would rather they brought back the Winged Eagle where
I get that, but I mean it's for marketability, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
Then,
slap your big logo on some titles and sell them. So I get why they do it that way. But yeah, so those are the predictions. All 13 matches covered in
all
1 hour
13.
and 23, basically 24 minutes. So, sometimes we can hit our cues pretty well. You're threatening to talk about AEW and New Japan and Impact next week and Ring of Honor.
It was actually good. All I'm going to say is, by the way, is I watched Multiverse and I watched Supercard. I'm not bothered about weekly TV, in terms of that sense, like discussing the weekly TV. Just the 2 pay-per-views were actually worth watching. But when you look at this card, this is such a big week of pay-per-view / premium live events themselves.
Always is Mania week. Always is, yeah.
Next week as well is also New Japan Sakura Genesis as well. Okada versus Sanada for the world title. It's just great mainstream. Like, this is such great times for wrestling right now. I'm hoping that we get to see. I want to see a great 2023 because so far, some of it has been questionable. Some of it is a little bit consequential.
Yeah, some of what your boys over at Impact have done has been downright deplorable. Some of what AEW has done should get wrestling banned. WWE have been quite good so far.
Unless you're a woman or a tag team competitor, but yeah.
Yeah, but in terms of like watching, because if they don't build the tag or the women for us to care, the stuff they've built up we at least care about.
I know.
So there's definitely still that. But yeah, anyway, I suppose we'll find out because of course we could have a lot to talk about next week anyway, with WrestleMania happening and then the Raw after, the SmackDown after, call-ups galore. We might not get time to talk about the wannabe wrestling. We might just have to keep focusing on the real stuff.
I'll say this though. Definitely do justice. Ring of Honor Supercard was worthy of their greatest turnout. It was actually worthy. I will say that. I just want to put this on because I want to ask you one big question. So I'm actually going to put it on screen.
Okay.
Dum, dum, dum. And I'm putting this one on screen. Rightfully so.
Okay. Let's quickly handle this then. What do you want to know?
We're not going to do the full show. We're not going to do the full show, so don't worry. I just want to discuss one match.
Okay.
And I want to get your opinion on it.
Okay.
First of all, this guy is so going to win NXT North American title. And the fact is that Roxanne's actually cleared to compete to defend her title in the ladder match. I'm happy with that. Because I think it would have been unfair not to have her. But it's obviously the main match. Breakker versus Carmelo Hayes. What is your thoughts going into that? And do you think Carmelo is taking the title at Stand Deliver?
Hayes to win, Braun Breaker to get called up. I think it's fairly obvious. I don't know who beats Braun Breaker if Carmelo Hayes doesn't. Carmelo Hayes is a fantastic character, terrific athlete, won the Breakout tournament. So he's clearly been destined for great things ever since that happened.
I agree.
And, as this heel, he's gotten over to new heights. And yeah, I think he'd be a great NXT champion. It would be nice to have the NXT title on a heel for a bit, as weird as that is to say, just so we can have some face challengers. And there's some guys in there now. I mean, you look at the North American 5-way, there are guys on NXT now that you could buy as world title contenders. So that's obviously, that's where I go with it. And obviously they could call anyone down from WWE as well. So if they wanted an AJ Styles to have a match with Carmelo Hayes, they could. I think NXT is in a strong position, but I think Carmelo Hayes has to win because Braun Breaker needs to come up. He's beyond that level and he needs to be tested now. And we need to see, okay, can he be over on the main roster? What can he do on the main roster? Are we destined for a Braun Breaker and Gunther showdown? Are we destined for Braun Breaker to go after the US title, as you suggested? Should be exciting. I'm really looking forward to Stand Deliver. And obviously we're rushing to get out of here so that you can so that we can basically get prepared for it. So we're coming up on the hour and a half, Reece. Do you want to take us home?
Absolutely. I just want to say thank you to my co-host for a great show. It was always enjoyable to do it. We will be back next Saturday to manifest WrestleMania weekend. We will include Stand and Deliver. We are going to review both shows. I think it's aptly appropriate. We've got to do both. We're not just going to leave out Stand. I think it'd be criminal to leave out Stand and Deliver. I think it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
We are going to do that. I need to speak to you about the quiz because we're going to do one. We are going to do one mid-June. Just let you know.
Yeah,
and it's your turn.
We got time. Let's not panic about that.
Yep. But our focus purely now is WrestleMania. So to everyone that's watched, thank you so much. Please do hit the like, share, and subscribe button. We will be back 4 o'clock next week, our usual time, 4 o'clock. It's always been enjoyable, but for you guys, we will see you all later and enjoy WrestleMania.